Welcome to the Right Tack, where we help private practice owners face the headwinds of the healthcare industry. I'm Paul Jonas, CEO and co-founder of BreezyBilling and Phoenix Credentialing.
Well, and I'm Jim Jonas, therapist, co-founder of BreezyBilling, Phoenix Credentialing, and way back when, the Jonas Center.
Today, it's just the two of us, and we are talking about something foundational for any practice owner: how to start and run a business with your values at the center.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, before we get started,
Yeah.
what you got going on this weekend, Dad?
Well, it is Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And given every other weekend that we've been hanging out when we've done this podcast,
We're not going to hang out, right? Maybe
we're not hanging
later.
out. Maybe
Okay.
on Sunday.
Maybe Sunday.
Maybe.
Okay. But I'm smoking a turkey on Thursday.
Oh, that's
Now,
pretty good.
as you all know, we live in Minnesota, and it's supposed to be snowy and drizzly and freezing rain and wind. I can't wait to be out on my deck with my smoker smoking this turkey. And I'm going to use, one of your best friends recipe about putting herbs and things in butter and mixing it all together and then sticking it under the skin. Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound good? And just letting it melt into everything. And that's after brining, of course.
Oh, I've had a bit of that turkey, and it's really
it's
good.
worth it.
It's a heck of a recipe.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It's awesome.
What about you?
Well, I am going to be in Wisconsin with my wife's family. So we'll go to Madison, and we're going to take a little road trip to Milwaukee. So he sees some family around there, and then head back to Madtown. There's a fire truck parade. It's in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. And on Saturday, it is the most hallmark thing you will ever see in the world. Just fire trucks and kids and lights. And then at the very end, Santa comes out, gets into the ladder truck with a little bucket and gets, pushed out on the ladder truck.
Whoa.
Slowly. And then he lights the town Christmas tree and all the lights and stuff light up. It's pretty cool.
Do they throw candy and stuff?
Yeah.
At this one?
There's
Okay,
candy,
that's
all
great.
sorts it's family friendly, even though my kids are teenagers now.
Yeah.
They're still kind of excited to go. We turned it into a little tradition.
Great.
Yeah, and then maybe on Sunday we'll see each other.
We'll get together.
Yeah, too.
That sounds good. Why not? That sounds great.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, we got values here.
We got values.
And how do you, it's one of those things where, do you really think about your values when you start a business? I probably didn't. I was too anxious, but it would have been a good idea. And I think it's one of those things that if you are starting a business, thinking about what kind of business do you want to have, and how do you want to structure your values that's in line or aligned with your business and your personal and professional life. I think that's really important.
Yeah, and because even with Breezy, when you're starting a business, it's really just more about starting the business and your values. It's all internalized.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing I learned when we went through some of the processes to come up with our ground rules, we call them at Breezy, which we went through that in episode 1. What our ground rules were. It's really to help define it for you and the people that are working there or providing the service or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's see what thoughts for the Jonas Center?
Yeah.
I'm curious what your thoughts have been, and on your values. Like, have you,
back? This
What?
is great because back in, I think it was 2006 when we started the Jonas Center. Officially with a few therapists, we did a little meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did
awesome.
a values meeting, or and we came up with, gosh, what's the saying? Oh my gosh, to provide the best mental health services that we can to the people that we serve.
Oh, cool.
Something, just a simple little one-liner. That's yeah.
How many people were involved in that meeting?
I'm going to say 3. There were 4 of us. There were 3 therapists and myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We used to do strategic planning at previous places I've worked.
Yeah.
and day long things
Ooh.
and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't really like that.
So did it? So, oh, so why did it leave a bad taste in your mouth? I can see that in your face
Well, that's a good question. I
because I have the same reaction. Right,
Okay,
like some of the just like corporate, it feels forced.
right, right. And planning. I guess I'm gonna say because I think it's pretty simple. Your values can be pretty simple. Who are we? We were talking to one of our guests the other day, and having fun was one of her
Oh, from
values.
Sarah with Sarah
Yeah,
Rancy from a
yeah,
previous episode. Yeah, okay,
yeah. Which I thought that was pretty cool. And how they incorporate that into their meetings and that kind of thing.
right.
So, um, but otherwise, you know, do you really need to? Do you really need to spend a whole day trying to come up with values or taglines and that kind of thing? It's like, oh,
It almost feels like it's compartmentalized because I know when we did the breezy values, it took us, it was definitely more than 8 hours we put into it,
well,
but it was
okay,
spread out and it was shared, and it wasn't like everyone get together and we're gonna hammer out our values within this time limit.
okay. And you're bringing up another thing about having it be shared. You shared it
Mhm.
with employees,
Yeah,
with the with the people that are working for us.
yeah,
So, and I think that's a value in and of itself.
yeah. I don't know. It seems kind of natural to do that
Well, yeah,
because
yeah,
it's we all
what,
work here. We're all heading in the same direction. We're all in the same boat. So
yeah,
let's make sure everyone kind of has a say in the alignment, and then get that set, and then those become I'm gonna say ground rules.
yeah,
Those become the ground rules for anybody new who joins, or for any of the decisions that we make who are here already. And so it seems like it's fair to everybody if you're coming up with them after the fact.
yeah,
But it is nice to have an idea of what that is. I think beforehand. I wish we would have come up with it earlier. It would have, I
mm,
think, helped us in a lot of different ways to have that defined and not just have it, be internalized and just, first how the two of us work together when it was just the two of us, and then,
yeah,
as we added staff.
yeah, yeah. That's that's important. you know, I keep also thinking about personal values, and in my outline here, I had been thinking about how to focus on yourself, on your family, and on your profession.
Hmm.
And I'm going to kind of say in that order,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because you got to live with yourself for the rest of your life, as long as you're aware. And so far, I think I'm still pretty aware.
You're doing great today,
Oh,
Dad.
thank you. Thank you, son. Appreciate that.
Uh,
But then your family, which are, the most important people in your life. It's like you know, they should be really up there with your priorities and with how you live your life. Oh, um, isomorphically.
ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Did I bring that up one
You did.
at
I
a
I know I've
previous
heard the word in the
podcast?
last like week or two.
Okay, Briar.
But what? Oh, that was
One of
it.
the
Okay.
supervisors, yeah, one of my old supervisors talked about isomorphism, which is basically living your life the in a similar manner, no matter what environment you're in. That's what it means from
Hmm.
a relational standpoint. So you're going to see the same Jim Jonas whether I'm with my wife or my family, or with peers or colleagues or people that work for me. You're going to see the same guy, and that's about authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'd vouch for you. I think you hit it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh, great.
well, that's interesting that you brought that up from this presentation that this outline,
Yeah.
because that's one of our ground rules at Breezy, is to take good care.
Take good. Yeah.
Take care
Yeah.
of yourself, your family, and your work, and there's a reason we put that in that order.
Yeah. Yeah. I, life is too short. And,
Yeah.
and I do think, some of this that I'm thinking about today is because I'm 68 and I've lived a few years.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull that. I've
Yeah.
seen some stuff.
I've seen some, yeah, right. But yeah, things I've learned over the years, and being authentic kind of frees you up, uh, um, to be yourself, and and you don't have to worry about, putting on airs or
There's less opportunity for dissonance,
yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
talking, if you're different people in front of different groups, if those groups combine,
Oh, yeah, that'd be
well, then
bad.
which one are you?
Right, right.
And then both sides will probably end up thinking,
Yeah, this
and
guy isn't authentic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that,
Oh,
well, and if I've heard anything from any feedback about, I think us and our businesses, is that people are pretty authentic,
yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Well, and people stick around. Yeah, I guess I'm going to say with Breezy Notes, Phoenix, even though Phoenix is pretty young, but and with the Jonas Center, people stick around.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
uh,
I
we
think,
we have a really good retention rate, and more often than not, when you talk to someone about why do you stick around, it's like, well, you guys, treat us fair. You listen. You'll you'll consider, our thoughts and
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well, and I think that going back to the values is that it's the playbook, right? Like people know it adds authenticity if you have your values defined and you live by them or work by them.
Yeah, yeah,
So then that just adds to that feeling of authenticity, and also then people just know how the game's played.
yeah,
If you get when a new employee comes on, it's like this is what we stand for. This is how we operate. And so even if you're a sole proprietor or just a solo owner, having that defined, then at least for the people that you interact with, they can, that's your card, that's your calling card. They
yeah.
see that. So, I wish we would have done it sooner, a lot
Okay,
sooner at
okay,
Breezy.
yeah,
I think everyone, you kind of have a feeling for it, but have it written down to put that time and effort into it
yeah.
makes it real.
Well, and the values at Breezy Notes are pretty creative, if I say so myself. So,
Yeah, we had fun with those.
yeah, yeah,
But they're a true reflection of how we operate,
yeah,
which is kind of cool. So we've got let's see, we've got Pinky Swear, and then Whip It, and Stay Limber, and Take Good Care, which we already mentioned here, and then Party On.
yeah,
And those are just top level, not something you see on most corporate websites there, but definitely, it has the same purpose as some of the other core values, but it's got our little flair, I think,
hmm,
that I appreciated, because I always just hated the kind of fake generic core values. I even hated the word core values.
oh
There's
yeah.
I always talk about blue-haired Paul rolling in his grave back when in high school I had blue hair for a year,
Oh,
not quite.
oh gosh, it was a week.
It was I, I used to deliver pizzas and I got some great looks. Um, but those are the values we go by, and when we're doing anything, if you're not sure, and the staff does this too, is take a look at that and how does it fit in.
Yeah, yeah. Going back to the blue hair.
Should have mentioned it, but
Oh
that,
god.
that kid would have just hated corporate anything and probably questioned this. But
Oh god.
as we've grown and learned about the process.
Well, but and the creativity with our core values at Breezy Notes. But I am thinking too, it's like, as your parent.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting into something here. I'm
Oh,
curious.
oh no, it's like, okay, your son wants to color his hair blue,
Bright,
bright
right?
blue,
Smurf
yeah, like
blue.
Smurf, Smurf blue. Do you let him do that or not? That's the question.
What values did you have to really hold on to?
I have
You
something listed
well, you
here.
didn't say anything negative about it
Oh,
other than
God.
maybe that's really blue.
Well, that's really blue. Zip it. Maybe it was another non-judgmental.
There you go. All
You
right.
know,
Yeah. Okay.
and okay, well, and I think we may have said, Paul, are you sure you want to do that? Because we're not sure how people are going to respond to you. But if you want to, part of that is parenting, maybe parenting 101, which is about, if it's not immoral and it's not violence and no one's going to die, because of it, with an adolescent, you probably should just go along with it.
So I'm hearing I could have gotten away with more.
Well, oh my gosh. Probably. You got away with plenty.
I did.
And then there was your mother's nose.
Yeah, she knew when I was doing anything I wasn't supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
she was
She was
good at
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Wait, we're getting off topic, I
Well,
suppose. Huh.
hopefully. So okay, so we got Breezy's values. Tell me
Yeah.
more about this presentation that you gave to EO.
Oh,
That was it's a
well,
unique thing that they're doing, bringing in mental health into just
yeah.
this entrepreneurs world, which EO is the entrepreneurs organization. It's a organization, oddly enough, that's kind of the same thing as what you did, or what I said is like, it's about yourself, your family, and your work.
Yeah.
So it all ties together. And we came up with our values before I was even involved
Before
in
you.
that.
Okay.
And so yeah, tell me. So you presented
Well, I presented with one of the younger therapists, and that it was
from the Jonas Center, right?
from the Jonas Center, um, and that's exactly what we presented on. Uh, Basically, it was a lot about self care, and so being your authentic self gets back to uh, when you're doing the right thing, when you're as a leader, like if you're starting your business or something, needing, being willing to make unpopular decisions, but being honest and respectful about it. Some of it might be the whole rules you learned in kindergarten about sharing toys
Oh
in the
yeah.
sandbox.
Mhm.
It's easier then to take care of yourself, and some of that too has to do with setting boundaries, so that you don't bring your work home to your home, or you minimize that, or if you do because you can't help it, you say something, uh, so that the family can let you have some space or whatever you
Yep.
need.
Yeah.
Um, and I lost my train of thought. So, well, so it's being clear in what you're communicating, not only to your employees, but also to your family, and sometimes that can be the hardest thing to communicate, especially unpopular thoughts to your, wife or your kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I have definitely messed that up before. And try
as
to
we all
watch.
have. Yeah.
Thankfully, we've all got a little bit of grace here to give and
Yeah.
whatnot. Because yeah, nobody's perfect. And oof, I've made some mistakes. But yeah, but now and my wife's actually really good at this too. Is if she comes home after a rough day, she's just like, I need to walk, and I'm
There.
like, okay,
That's
I know
self-care.
where things are at, and we'll let her go and make it work. And when she can transition out of work mode into home mode, it's a lot better with that honesty, and that also, that's the self honesty too, like being
Right.
honest with yourself too. I see
Right.
that. So yeah, so we both, if we need a minute, sometimes we're comfortable asking for it.
Yeah. One thing, and at my age here again, I've been married a while. Luckily married sometimes, I would say.
Yeah.
So, but 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 a few years ago, and through my own therapy and that kind of thing, there was a I finally figured out how to approach Lisa at night when, there were time, whatever, something happens at work, so you come home and you're complaining about it, and it just was kind of a rough day, and Lisa would try and solve the problem for me,
Oh yeah.
and inevitably we'd get into an argument, and I'd leave those arguments going, what happened? What, uh, I'm just, saying this stuff because I had a rough day. And I finally figured out I didn't want her to solve the problem for me. I just wanted her to listen,
Hmm.
and I wanted her to say, "Gee, Jim, that sounds like it kind of sucked."
Yeah.
And then let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, to be able to vent to her. And after we discussed that and figured out that, I can always cue her up by saying, "Hey, I need a vent for a little bit here."
Oh, there you go.
She, it made it great. I mean, I could vent. She'd go, "God, that kind of sucks, Jim." And I go, "Well, thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I think so
All
too."
right.
Yeah.
So is that an example of, and I go, it's not really changing a core value, but adding something or because core values are pretty um, uh, solid, pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? They're supposed to stick around and not really change much because they're
Okay.
core, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need a little flexibility or the ability to change. Um, the willing or the openness to, I guess, questioning or finding that where you can change.
Well, okay, but for me, it was more about clear communication,
Okay.
which could be a core value,
Yeah.
you know, and again, it's kind of usually we can get hung up on not being as clear with the people who we're closest to,
Hmm.
because it's risky at times,
Hmm.
to uh, put yourself out there to to say, hey, I didn't really like what we did, or why do we always argue, and you yeah, it can be risky, or and these are people that you want to grow old and walk down the path into the sunset with. So it's very important to be clear with with what you need and what you want, and then I don't know, working it out. Um, because if you don't work it out, you're gonna it can suck energy from you and your relationship.
Okay. And that I see the same thing just with with whatever you value for your organization too, is if you
Yeah,
don't go through some kind of process or give it some kind of thought, it can take meaning away from your business,
yeah,
whether it's how you interact with your clients or with staff.
yep,
It can take away from that too.
yeah, yeah. So I, I have one of the other thoughts I had was about emotional energy, and I kind of part of my outline says, well, okay, so think about what takes or sucks emotional energy from you.
Hmm.
It's like, and it's about setting boundaries a lot of times, allowing people to take from you, being around negative people, you treating people poorly, lying, gossiping, angsty, controlling, darkness. I'm sure none of us have ever been there before. Oh boy. Okay. And
Yeah.
and and I like my line here. It says, generally, if you had a choice, you'd choose not to hang out with yourself
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're doing
Well, and,
that.
and and it can be so hard to know you're in that mindset too when you're in it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's where you got to
Yeah.
do some of those reality
Yeah,
checks.
yeah.
Um,
And well, if we go back to starting a business too, you're going to come up with these roadblocks, and it's very easy to just go, "Oh my gosh, here goes another one, and here goes another one," um, and and um, and to take it out on the people you love, or on yourself, and to you know step back, take a breath, and then dive into it, because
mhm.
if you really want to do this business and you have a passion for it, you're going to have to take those steps, and they're not all pleasant. That's for
No,
sure.
no, and I think about the taking care of yourself thing a lot,
Yeah.
um, because sometimes I, I feel that as a business owner, sometimes I have to sacrifice at least temporarily parts of myself, and
Hmm.
like I'm thinking, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking about work,
Yeah.
and so that means I'm kind of tired, and I have to watch my crabbiness today, and
You sure do, especially here.
yeah, fortunately, I feel like I'm in good company, but I'm going to try not to complain too
Right.
much. But boy, off mic, you should have heard me earlier.
Oh, you should have heard him earlier.
um, but like there is a give and a take, and I think
Hmm.
there's within taking care of yourself, your family, and your work. There are oh, what's the word? There are like boundaries to that. Like you can give a little bit and you can take a little bit, um, because sometimes you have to. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make sure things are going smooth for staff, and if it means I'm going to sleep a little bit less, then that's fine. But I got to not overdo it, and you
To
don't want to
not
overdo
overdo
it.
it. Right. Right. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think being a business owner, that's what you run into. It's not your um, whatever 9 to 5 job where you're putting things together or whatever,
Yeah, the buck
and
and
then
the
you go
buck
home.
stops with you. Like
Yeah,
you're the
yeah,
one in you're
yeah. So that takes, um, I don't know, patience, and a willingness to be available that way. That's
Mhm.
for sure.
And that's one of the, I guess, the risks of business ownership, of starting
Yeah,
a, whether it's a business or a practice, or starting a clinic, or is that, while you get the freedom that I know we've talked about before on this podcast, but you get the freedom, but you also have to do the work. You always have to take the risk as well.
yep, yep, yeah. So, which
So
kind
yeah, how do you let go of some of the stuff you can't, like, so you got
of,
all these things. When do you have to when do you have to let it go? Like, when is it too much?
you know, wow. When do you let it go? I think I let it go by breathing. Okay. Uh, and and then when I can get outside and do something.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, we split wood a lot on the weekends. Oh,
Hmm.
by the way, our neighbor called and he said he's got some trees lined up for us.
Oh yeah.
I said it'd be a piece of cake for you.
Oh yeah.
So,
That'll be fun.
yeah, yeah. Um, and doing things, what energizes you. And a lot of people would say, Jim, you're such an extrovert. And I go, I'm really not. And part of what energizes me is being at home, not talking to anyone, and kind of parallel playing with my wife. So Lisa's in the garden doing her thing, and I'm in the pole barn with my tractor, and the smell of the oil and the dirt, and
Hmm.
you start a motor and it actually starts up and runs. I love those things.
Yeah.
We're really excited about that. So that's what re-energizes me. Yeah, and knowing that, and it's you're right. A lot of times when you're in the thick of it, you got to step back a minute to realize it, and then move forward again.
Well,
So
and sometimes in letting go of those hard things that you can't overcome at the moment,
yeah,
then if you do step back, something new pops up. The number
yeah,
of times where, like, the idea of whatever the problem is, like the solution came after I'd already given up,
yeah,
or just took a break,
yeah.
comes later.
Part of this. Uh, I had a job before I got into this years ago, and believe it or not, I was doing utilization review. Some of you out there will know what utilization review is. Okay. And it was an awful job. And I was on a phone all day long and everything was being recorded. And it was awful. um, I and saying no to people when you had to say no, but I also was able to try and help people out, and that was helpful. I So yeah, and doing utilization review, it was a job I can honestly say I hated. Um, but it taught me what I have a passion for and what I love.
Mhm.
It was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this anymore. And I really know now that, I want to be a therapist and I want to try and be a leader,
Hmm.
and a business owner so that I can be, a gateway or a vehicle where people can come and feel good about where they're working
Hmm.
and feel good about themselves and their profession and just and I'm there to support them, and I'm there to support my clients and to listen and respect and and then because I mean we do spend a lot of time at work and it should be good. It should be good.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
as much as possible. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's good.
yeah. Hmm.
So, if you were going to come up with some principles to run a business
Principles. Oh,
and to live by,
yeah,
what are some things you'd recommend?
man, thinking hard about this. and actually it didn't take that long for me to come up with this, because these are things I've learned over the years. This is why, a little experience that I've had here, and they're timeless, I want to say.
Ooh, okay.
So my first principle is to be timely.
Hey, pitch that right to yourself.
Wasn't that great? Yeah. Okay. What a segue too, huh? Oh my gosh. Be timely. And basically this comes with bad news, especially. Okay. So when I hear bad news, and you hate hearing bad news, but when I hear it, you go, okay, if nothing else, I can tell people that I just found this out, and I'm sorry this is happening, or whatever the bad news is,
Mhm.
and we'll figure out how to deal with it. But letting them know, rather than waiting for a few days and then fretting about it or whatever, just letting people know especially when there's bad news. That's one of the principles here. Listening is another principle. Uh, and listening and then providing thoughtful answers.
Yeah,
I
a
like
little
that.
proof that you listened.
Yeah, right, right. Uh, People, whether they're a client or a person, a colleague, an employee, or myself, I I want to be heard. And so as a
Mhm.
leader, as a business owner, listening to your people is so important. And truly one of the most therapeutic healing things I do, I think, my therapy practice is to listen, just actively listen. People so appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's about, I don't know, it's about respect.
Yeah.
It's about respecting, the um employee owner relationship. I mean, we are all people here, no matter what anyone's job title is.
Yeah.
And I know I try to do the same thing at Breezy in Phoenix as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, another rule or principle that I feel like has been very successful for me is staying out of the way. Okay. Staying out of the way
Okay.
of people, the people that are working for you. And so, yes, you provide guardrails, you provide some structure, but then after you provide that structure, not nitpicking this really small stuff. It's letting, for a therapist, it's letting, being the vehicle to support them in doing therapy as much as they can.
Mm.
Okay. And you just stay out of the way. And it's, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of leaders, I
That
don't think.
that kind of reminds me of our previous podcast with Sarah Ramsey talking about finding your niche.
Yeah.
And by letting the you know letting the trained therapist, and I know you've said this before, but any therapist that is licensed has been through the school, has been through the supervision, has determined they've learned the methods, but also added their own spins on
Hmm.
different things. And so to stay out of the way, but be available for if they have questions, or if
Yeah.
somebody has questions.
Yeah.
And that's part of that leadership thing that I've heard you talk about
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Being available, and that gets back to timeliness. When I have a therapist calling with a concern, I try and get back to them as soon as I possibly can. Um, we Walking people through like an experience like being turned into the board for absolutely no reason, but okay, things like that. It's like, and that's when you're support. That's when you walk next to the person and get them through the difficult times. Um, what other difficult times are, if you're a kid therapist and it's a divorce, it's a contested divorce, that can get real um, uh, uh, energy sucking too at times. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so staying out of the way and supporting when needed. And that gets back to what you were saying before, Paul, about Sometimes it's after hours, it's not always convenient,
Yeah.
so being flexible that way too. So
All right.
one more principle I got,
Yeah.
and
This is for all the gray hairs.
this is it. And it's consult. Consult with people you trust.
Mhm.
And again, for those of you who are therapists, if you talk to your board, their first question, whenever there's an issue that comes to their attention, is, well, did you consult? Okay. And that's the board. We're in full agreement there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so whether it's an email going out to staff, or any kind of communication, I have throughout my years of being a leader, I always run that by somebody I trust. Okay.
Mhm.
And it helps so that and there've been a couple of times when I've maybe had a bias statement in there. There's a couple of times when maybe, well, no, I haven't been that crazy, or insane, but close to it probably. And then typically it's my wife who will say, Jim, do you really want to say it that way, or isn't there a better way to say it, or whatever?
Mhm.
And I guess maybe AI or Chat GPT can kind of take some of that over.
Oh boy.
But who created that? We could go into that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So consult with people you trust. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Though,
Well, and I'm just on the business side too, like consulting with people about
oh,
your
oh
business.
my gosh, you and I have learned that over and over.
And it's hard to find good people to trust, but when you
Yeah,
do, hang on to them. And usually those people know other people that you can trust pretty quickly. So
yeah.
you just
Oh,
you find those good people. And I know we've talked about our consultants before and how much they've helped. And it's another shout out to everybody who's helped us
yeah. Oh, for
for the
sure.
breezy side for that. And yeah, so that you just can find people or that know things,
Yeah.
and that's you can just bounce those questions off of.
And I'm going to give EO some credit in your membership with EO, that that was a part of finding some really good people
Yeah.
that consultants that you can trust.
Mhm.
It's been a really good organization
It
that
really
way.
has. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Well,
huh.
anything else on
Man, what's on my
core
mind?
values and
Oh, core
starting
values.
businesses and all that?
No, man, you treat people well, they're going to treat you well. You know,
Yeah.
um, that's kind of what it boils down to. And I'll look. Uh, the Jonas Center, I feel, has been a really successful um, uh, agency, a company for me, and where it's taken
Mhm.
me all these years. And Breezy knows it's been that way too. So yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. Well,
Mm,
outside of that,
yeah.
what's been on your mind lately?
I have no, well, you know what? I forgot this last time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what was on my mind during the last podcast, which was before, it was like 2 weeks ago. So what, the beginning of November or something?
Yeah.
People were putting out their Christmas lights.
Yeah.
People were putting out their Christmas lights.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And it's like, wait a minute. We haven't even, wait, this was before Halloween, even. I think there were a few with Christmas lights before
Might
Halloween.
have been a
I mean,
handful.
really?
In our
Okay.
neighborhood, there's a handful.
Yeah. Yeah. So why are you doing that? I mean, so
You know,
yeah.
I've got some thoughts on that.
Oh boy. Okay.
And I used to be a no Christmas before Thanksgiving. Like I used to be
Okay.
a
Yeah.
celebrate one holiday at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Let's do Halloween. That's a fun one. Let's get to Thanksgiving. That's a fulfilling one. And then let's get to Christmas.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to depend on how where you're at in life as far as how
Huh.
comfortable you are and how you can celebrate those holidays. And also, part of it is my wife would celebrate Christmas, I think, all year round if she could.
Probably.
Well, and Halloween too. It's a weird mix of the Jonas household. Still, like the Halloween decorations stay up all year, in some places. But with Christmas, you know, a you know, it, I my family wanted to celebrate it before Thanksgiving. My entire family.
Oh God. Okay.
Adria, the boys, and they so I'd be the humbug or the curmudgeon and just say no, we're not going to celebrate before Thanksgiving. And then it would get past Thanksgiving, and in the last probably 5 years, I started changing my tune on this because it'd get past Thanksgiving, and then boom, Christmas was over.
Well, yeah, that's
And
true.
our lives, with the kids in school and being teenagers and all the work stuff that's going on and just how fast it seems like the world, I don't know if it's after COVID picked up pace or whatever. It just doesn't feel like there's any time to reflect and to think about the holiday. And especially with these, with the big important ones like, Thanksgiving's good, see the family, eat food. But with Christmas, there's a little bit more to it than that. Because it's still like even that magic from childhood still fits in underneath there. So you want to celebrate it a little bit more, be able to appreciate it a little bit more. And so I got off my toadstool and said, "All right, fine, whatever." And if I don't feel like listening to that Christmas music or watching that Christmas movie for the 800th time, I'll just not.
Yeah. Put the headphones
But there's
on.
some that I do, and I've kind of enjoyed it, just like kind of giving in and going with the flow a little bit. So we had our Christmas lights up. I think it was November 6th. It was at least after Halloween, but it was a Saturday, and we had the time to put it up.
And the weather.
Up, and the weather was nice.
Okay. Yeah.
So it didn't have to I've been up on my roof when it's snowy and icy, and that's
that's
miserable.
not good. No.
And so I was like, let's just do it. Get the lights going.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. You don't know this, son. Huh. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm not ready.
So the Jonas Brothers have their Christmas movie or something?
Do they?
I think so.
Okay.
You all out there would know.
There's got to be somebody more in touch with culture than us.
Right. We're going to watch that tonight.
Is it a new movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're doing the Jonas Brothers Christmas.
I keep saying the night, and I didn't like pop. Like I'm not a pop music guy. I can't say that in all honesty because there's some pop music I love, but the Jonas Brothers at least help people understand how to spell our last name.
That's true. That is very true.
We'll get anything except for Jonas.
Yeah.
So those guys, at least when they got big, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, they're getting old too.
Almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
We're all getting old. Okay. I'm going to have all the wisdom on one of these podcasts in the future.
You are. Won't be that long, son. Oh, great.
All right.
Well, wait. Have you been thinking about what were you thinking about?
I was actually thinking about wiffle ball.
Oh.
Wiffle ball. We spent so much time on Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, wiffle ball. I love playing wiffle ball. It's one of the things we're going to do in Milwaukee.
Oh,
is there's a place that's a brewery and an indoor wiffle ball facility, and we take the kids and my it's my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and so we'll all go there and just play wiffle ball, and whichever family can make it, they invite everybody.
Yeah,
whoever can make it comes along, and we'll either play a big game or just hit the ball around, and it ends up being a really fun time for all of us. And so we'll be doing that on Friday.
Great.
Looking forward to that when we head into Milwaukee for the day.
Oh, cool. All right. Well,
all right.
What are we thinking?
Well, I think that's a wrap. Since today was all about values, I'll leave you with this. If your business doesn't have a strong core, it might just drift into uncharted meh-ratory.
Meh-ratory.
Don't want to be meh.
You know what? I just got that right now. Meh. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. All right. If you want more updates, tips, and resources for practice owners, make sure you're subscribed to our monthly newsletter, Trade Winds. Comes out every Friday. To sign up, go to our website, breezybilling.net/tradewinds. We do updates about the podcast, the latest news for behavioral health. And then we also have a feature where any of our customers who can post announcements asking for referrals or announcing books or things like that too. So that's a real good tool for just keeping up on things in behavioral health.
Well, so until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon.